Nicky Devlin, Ayr United club captain, and you're watching Quill 18.
Hey folks, Cool18 here, and welcome back to our Let's Play of Football Manager 2017. We're playing as Ayr United, and this is the very first episode I have recorded of Football Manager since I went to Scotland and saw a real live Ayr United game. It was fantastic to watch, incredibly fun to see some of these familiar names in action in real life. Not all the names, because of course we have a slightly different team than the real world Ayr United. Specifically, the match I went to see was this one here. At home versus Dunfermline on the 7th of January. I went to see that game. Now, in our universe here, the virtual universe, I was quite disappointed with the 0-0 draw here. But actually turned out to be even worse in real life. They dropped the game 2-0, Dunfermline scoring twice. And one of the people who scored for Dunfermline is actually Andy Geoghegan over here. Apparently that's the way they pronounce it, Geoghegan. I keep saying Geoghegan, but Geoghegan. I don't know. Who, if you recall, actually, where did we go? I guess history over here? Yeah, we transferred from Dunfermline. He'd actually played for Ayr once a long time ago, but then went to Dunfermline and we took him back. Well, apparently that was a good idea because he scored against the real-life Ayr United. So in real life, Ayr United is actually having a few issues. We have quite a few injuries over here, including Nicky Devlin, which you guys have just seen in the intro little bumper there, assuming that I did everything right. That's the captain of the team. I was lucky enough to get a chance to just meet him for a few minutes, have a little bit of a chit-chat. He'd actually watched a few videos, including the one where he got injured. And like, I hope this is not some sort of like foreshadowing of what's going to happen to you, Nicky, because I think in our game, in our virtual world, I think Nicky gets injured in basically what the next real life game of Ayr United is going to be. So hopefully that doesn't happen to him in real life. But he is injured here. But that being said, while we do have a few injuries, the real-life Ayr United's actually had quite a few more problems. They basically have no strikers right now. Due to the way a few trades and contract things have happened, they don't necessarily have quite as many options. We, of course, get to abuse a relatively generous, let's say, loan system here in Football Manager, where we're getting a lot of people for free. But real-life Ayr United does have Craig Moore. Unfortunately, something like 2 games into the series, the season, in July, Craig took a really vicious concussion, a hit to the head, and he's been out of action for about 6 months now. Cross our fingers, he may be back for the next or the next real-life Ayr United game, so they'll be back to having a striker. But basically, they've had no real dedicated, strong, focused strikers for a large part of the season here, and it's caused a lot of issues. So that game that I watched with Dunfermline, they actually had a lot of opportunities. Ayr had a lot of opportunities to score, but not really anyone who could sort of really deliver the killing blow there. So anyway, enough about real-life Ayr United. Of course, much more important to talk virtual Ayr United here in Football Manager. Our next game is in 7 days. Normally, I sort of bring up the schedule to a little closer to game time before we start, but I want to get back into this because it's been a little while since I've played. Want to get readapted. We've got Ricky Lammy here, who's new to the team, still getting up to speed on some of our tactics over here, but I think he's going to go fine. You can see I've also made a few more changes over here. I've locked in the whipped crosses. I was feeling like that felt really good for us. We still don't have any real tall men in the offensive zone, other than, I suppose, like when you're doing a corner kick and your defenders are straight up, because these guys have a little bit of verticality to them. But our normal offensive team doesn't really have much in the way of height. But the whipped crosses, we had a little bit of success testing that out, so we're going to try that out. Of course, we'll have to adapt to the familiarity of some of the crossing style here, but I think it's going to be fine. I actually don't know if that's a familiarity thing. But you can see as well, I also am telling our team to play wider here, which, I mean, it's still relatively narrow here, but we might get a little bit more width. Having now seen a real-life football match for the first time ever, really understanding how much people tend to go up the sides and try to cross it in. So we're going to try to do that, and with the more direct passing, really going to try to get the ball to Crane a fair bit. Ralston over here has relatively poor crossing, although I think it's actually going to be fine. We do have him set to cross less often. I'm not sure if I want to do that. I'm actually going to remove that over here. So he's not super accurate with the crossing, but he'll still get it in there. I'm still going to keep him on a fullback support role as opposed to Crane's wingback attack, which is considerably more offensive. And then when we do get Nicky Devlin in here, if I recall correctly, he's a little bit better at crossing, is he not? Only a 5 still. But good speed. Just really good on the defense over here, though, these guys. Look at that, the marking, the tackling. So hopefully we'll get him back in here. He's probably on a part-time contract? part-time contract, which is probably why some of those stats are going down. Of course, being injured is not going to help either. Anyway, I think that's going to be that. So unless there's any more injuries as we advance time here, this is basically going to be your composition. We're going to be playing Dumbarton away. Dumbarton is at the bottom of the rankings currently. Eric can be proud. Indeed, we are. Harkins report on McGuffey. He's improving. Excellent. This is our young striker that we are trying to train up to maybe be our full-time, like, poacher type something or other. We'll see how that goes. The other thing we might play around with a little bit is some of our corner tactics. I had a chance to actually talk to some real-life football fans and, you know, get some information about how you might try to approach that going forward. Crawford resumes full training. Excellent. Robbie Crawford. Going back here from his injury. Compiled by Dumbarton. So, what do you think here? Feels like the focusing on defending set pieces would be good match preparation. Yeah, okay, sure. We're going to say that because honestly, that's always one of our scary parts. And let's take a look at Dumbarton's like the tactics used over here. Of course, they tend to use a 4-4-2, very common over here. It doesn't seem like they're doing very well. Of course, they're at the bottom of the of the league, so it makes sense that they have more chances against than for. They tend to be defeated by, well, just about everything seems to do well. So we'll see how that goes. Who's their top sort of scorers over here? How do I get, not contract information. Maybe general info will have what I need at a glance. No, I just want, there we go, selection info. There's our top scorer, Donald McCallum over here. Robert Thompson, obviously their strikers, makes a lot of sense. Josh, what is this? Oh, he's got an amateur contract, but he's started in 30 games. Crazy. Look at this guy. Well, let's give a quick scout to these three over here. Just get a quick little scouting report on them before the match, and that's going to be fine. So I don't think we have to do any extraordinary tactic changes. I think that a lot of the success or failure will mostly come from maybe our offense and seeing how that works. I think this is going to be an excellent game to try a slightly tweaked stratagem as we're trying here. I'm going to go with the more offensive control mentality, despite the fact that we are playing away, because we should be a fairly decent team over here. Oh yeah, that's our scouting reports coming in on some new players over there. Mostly I just want to be able to look up a little bit more information on them when we go into our game and just set the opposition instructions, for example, here. Player recruitment advice. Yeah, we could scout them. Sure. We'll go ahead and scout these. That's fine. That sounds good to me. No problem there. No worries there. When are we? Oh, yeah. So we're after the trading period. And what was I? I was just talking. I was going to look for someone very specific before the next transfer window, which is when? Is there a mid-year one, or is it like September? List. Oh, there is one in June and September. There's a lot of transfer windows. Oh, no, that's open, close. Okay, so the entire summer, there's a giant transfer window that's open. And I don't remember where I was going to start looking for that. I think what I was going to start to consider, because I would really like, I don't like that we're not really playing Alan Forrest properly. By the way, Alan Forrest, he is not tall in real. He looks very small. Very small, very young. Real quick, though. Very good. Definitely one of the more dangerous people on the pitch in the game that I saw. But it's not only him. There's a couple of people on the team of Ayr United who do look quite microscopic. And so he is, I mean, he plays well as an attacking midfielder here, but he also plays exceptionally well as a winger. And he can tolerate playing on the left wing, although clearly not as strong here. And I think for the next year, I may want to change to something that utilizes a couple of wingers instead. Maybe like whatever the back looks like. I don't know how many. Math is hard, and counting up to 10 is hard, but maybe like a 4-2-3-1 kind of thing. And then, so you've got Gary Harkins, of course, very naturally. He's an attacking midfielder in the center. I mean, he can play a lot of positions, but he's the strongest there. If we had Alan Forrest playing as a right winger over here, possibly as an inside forward, since Alan's not great at long shots, right? You see a 3 over here. So if you play him as an inside forward, I think that tends to It doesn't say it here. It says it in tactics screen, but I think they move in more once they've got the ball. So just like really get up front quite a bit more. So we might play him with that. So the question becomes, maybe we could find someone who could play a left inside forward. And maybe what I'll do is I'll set up a scouting job for something like that quite early on. Create new assignment. I want a first team player, maybe even a hot prospect actually, which is an interesting idea. Hot prospect for an inside forward over here. And I'm not sure that there's a lot of people who do that. But yeah, let's make sure you start with at least like, I don't know, 1.5 stars for now. Until finished. Yeah, let's start looking for that. Yeah, I don't want to mess with any tactics right now and break it. But I think that's the idea. The inside forward is something like when they've got the ball, they move in towards the net. And yeah, so we'll try something like that. Okay, so we're getting some extra scouts on some people from the team from Dumbarton. All right, we really got to advance time. I want to get to the game here before the end of the episode. We will get there. Mackenzie signs new air deal. Oh, Sean McKenzie. Yes. This is the person who's currently away on loan, but he is coming back. He has not been developing while being away, which is a little bit crummy here. Again, he's got a full-time contract and all that too. I don't know if they're just not using him well over there. Seems like a damn shame. He's only 19 years old, good natural fitness. Hopefully we can get him trained up as, target man. Quite tall. We don't have a tall target man for the end there. Once we've got that, then we can start considering different crossing techniques. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Air scouted player update. Okay. That's fine. Breaking news. Oh, new manager change. Okay, that's also just swell. Use Offside Trap. Instructs the team to operate with the Offside Trap. So I don't know like what the Offside Trap stratagem is. Also, I've been, I realized I've slightly misunderstood one of the offside things, because the offside rule is there can't be two people. There has to be at least two people behind, the forward-most person before the pass starts. But I forgot that, I think I knew, and then I forgot that the goalkeeper is one of those people most of the time. So in practice, in practice, it's one defender behind you. And I think I've been talking about like two defenders. I forgot that the goaltender counts as one of those. Pleased with professional preparation. So am I. Our game is tomorrow. We're through worst yellow card. Okay. Next up. All right. So our games today. Dumbarton conceded 2 goals from corner kicks. God, that goes too fast. Wish there was a way to get those messages back. Maybe there is, but I don't know. All right. Is it time? Fitness test. Jordan Hart, Robbie Crawford. Excellent. Crawford, we don't actually have in the sub list at this time, but if I recall correctly, Robbie Crawford is stronger than Michael Wardrop over here. Wardrop, I don't know. Yeah, although Wardrop does have some potential going forward, but I think what we're going to do is something like that. Okay, seems fine. Continue. Match preview. There we go. All right, so what's the weather like? Only 1 degree with a strong wind and rain. This is very, very uncomfortable here. Very unfortunate weather. This referee seems to be a little bit more eager with the yellow cards than some of the people that we've seen, maybe even the red. So he seems like he's maybe a little bit more strict. We've met Dumbarton twice. We won once, drew once. And yeah, okay. About 1,000 people over here. Yeah, we're going to go with this composition. I think this is going to be okay. We're going to use the more aggressive strategy. I think I'm happy about that. And processing. Now, one of the things that I remember reading somewhere, I don't remember where, maybe one of those tips, was that when the weather is bad, I think the direct passing style turns out to be better. Because I think, like, all the short passes and trying to move up might be harder if the ball is always wet all the time, whereas the direct pass, you just like knock it up into the air and hope to get there. I don't know. I think that's the tip I remembered seeing. So it seems like it might be the way we want to go. Air is the slight favorite, but not very much. It is in there. We will go ahead and make sure that that we keep the strikers there and the wide guys over here. We're just going to make sure to close down on them when they do have the ball. And tell the team to improve drastically on that day, put an end to this bad form. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be assertive about this. We've been on a bit of run lately, so go out there and impress me. Everyone's looking relatively okay. I'm going to go and tell the strikers that have faith in them. Look happy. Excellent. Actually, our mood's pretty good overall. Ricky Lamy, who's still new to the team, only has okay morale. And Sean McCurdy. Who the hell is Sean McCurdy? $18 years old. I was just looking at the list. This is someone we just picked up. Oh, he's on loan? From whom? I don't remember who he is. On loan from Hamilton. We must have just picked him up. Again, I haven't played this in probably about 3 weeks now. So some of the things not quite in my brain yet, but we'll get back in there. All right, here we go with the sound. Now, one of the things I've been wondering about is, should we change the view? I've realized that we might get a little bit more information about some of the... like some of the ways the ball is handled, right? The head versus the chest stop versus the foot stop, and might get a little bit more context for things in the 3D view. I do like the 2D one because you get a really good sense of the position of everyone, but I'm wondering if it might... We're gonna play a 3D view for this game and see if we get a good sense of things a little bit more over there. We got Crane, who took a big long shot there. I don't know if that was supposed to be a cross or what it was. But no, I don't like not being able to see the numbers quite as well over here, but we'll see. Get to more, back to Ralston. And yeah, see, like, oh, I like analyzing 2D. I wonder, there's a split view, but not for like two different layouts. Is there, hold on, there's a radar? That might be what we want, actually. If I do something like this... Ooh, this I like. There we go. So anyone who wants to see like the position of the players overall can look here. I can also pause and try to get a sense of things at that time as well. All right, so the ball's getting up to Thomas, who is got a wall of white in front of him. He's not going to be able to get through here. Moore is going to get over to McCurdy again. Thomas to Harkins, who hoofs the ball. It does get saved, but yeah, that really was a lovely move. Okay, oh, that's the thing I was going to do. We were going to take a look at the... at our corner stratagems on attack and see if there was something that we could move. Now, I don't remember who's our absolute, like, tallest, actually. We need to know in our squad who might be the best at, like, well, I guess headers, really. So we've got jumping over here, which is one part of the equation. So Ricky Lamy. Oh, yeah, Ricky Lamy was quite tall. That's one of the reasons we got him, I think. So he's back on the fence, and he's going to be good at that. Jumping, reach, heading, yeah. We want to make sure that Ricky Lamy here is getting in there on here. So he is... Okay, he's already in there. Far post. Do we want him somewhere different? Is this the right position? Do we want to try to get it to pass to him? Because we can do that. We can say, so try to hoof it over to the far post where Ricky Lamy is. Which is probably, it's probably a very hard corner to pull off, but it's probably the one that's most successful at scoring if you pull it off, just because of the angles. And then put Ricky Lamy over there. Excellent. Okay, so it automatically put him there. Maybe that's the normal default. So we can try some of that for today. Set piece takers. So corners are already in there, and yeah, I guess it's going to be fine. So we still don't have anyone who's like stupendous at a corner, but it'll do. So here's Kearney. And now this did not take into account our changes yet. The corner did get to Thomas, who tried to head it in. It went high or wide. Again, it was a little hard to see from this angle. We'll see how it goes, but we'll see if we can't be a little bit better at that. So you can see I've gotten some information now. I don't yet know how to best apply it. Thomas, back to McCurdy, back to Gegan. Kearney moves it up to Harkins, gets to Moore, who's a little bit stuck. I want him to clear it to the flanks. It's interesting that he's not doing that, because in real football, I kept seeing them clear it out to the flanks constantly. And I wonder why they don't want to as much. Do I have to encourage them to do that? Because there are people wider. I've told them to play wide. They've got the direct passing style. There we go. Over to Ralston, who's going to attempt to get in front of the net. It gets knocked away by Buchanan. Over to Gallagher, who's going to clear it wide. But, oh my God, Magat! See, maybe I am really happy about going to 3D mode over here. That run-up for the header was excellent. It does get back to a Dumbarton player, but then back to us. Moore moves it up to Thomas. Long shot on the ground. A real screamer. Martin is able to stop that, but really, really nice. Oh, corner angle change with the director view. I don't know if I want that, but Kearney does cross it in. McCurdy tries to run into it, but it does get just knocked away, and it's going to be a throw-in. Do we want the director mode, or do we want a fixed camera angle? Try and encourage them to play a short passing game. Why? It's because of the weather? I don't know. I think we've been fine. Possession is 63% in our favor. We're the only ones with some shots. 2 of them have been on target at that. So that's quite nice. Going to be a corner for them. No, for us. Wait. That's not our Doherty. I was like, no. That's... Yeah, no, yes. Okay, that's their Doherty. All right. I was super confused there for a second. Excellent. Doing grabs the ball, and we've got a goal kick, sending it forward. Winning our fair share of headers. Yeah, no, though. Not unless we get our defenders to move up more. I think I like this. I think I still like our stratagems that are going on. So free kick. Another Crawford on the other side, too. This is going to get confusing. Okay, excellent. Geegan, good. Well, there was a body block of the ball there, and then Geegan was able to pick up the loose ball. Moore just sends it deep into the opposite end, but nothing's going to come of that. That was interesting. I wonder why he decided to do that. I'm not saying he was wrong. He did look to be a bit pinned in. I'm not sure. There's other Crawford. Other Crawford can really move quite quickly here. But Crane was on him, denying him a good angle for the shot. Nothing happens. We get another goal kick. Here's Crane with the toss in, going to Thomas, who goes right to the center to Paul Kearney, moves it up to Moore. It's a bit pinned in. Kearney again sends it wider over to Crane here, who does get the ball, just barely. It's actually a bit of a struggle, but he does get the loose ball after. Oh my God, beautiful pass from Moore to Harkins, but Harkins sends it too high above the net. That was a really good scoring opportunity there, and nothing came of it, which is a little bit disappointing. Oh, we got a bit of a warning towards someone. How are we doing with the fouls? 3 and 4, that's good. No cards, certainly. Let's widen this just a little bit. Pass completion, 82%. I love to see that. Love to see that. We're not winning that many tackles, but we haven't done that many either. And we've been more on the offense, so we would have less reason to be as tackle-rific. Doohan barely gets a hand on there. I think that was going into the net. Now that's going to be a corner for our opposition here. Always a scary time. We have been practicing the set-piece defense, though. There we go. Excellent deflection. I actually missed who's the person who headed that off there. Oh, Barr manages to keep it in for the opposition. Thomas tries to head it towards the goal, but Crane is able to pick up the loose ball, which was at never any risk of getting into it. But it is going to give them a throw-in. But, oh, no. We're just going to be able to go kick it over here. Excellent. Buchanan sends it forward, but Harkins stops it and gets good control. Kearney's got it now, moves it up to Moore, who's definitely boxed in. He's got to send it back to Kearney. Harkins, Kearney again. Oh, come on! Come on, referee. Where's the yellow card on that? That looked... I don't know, maybe it was a dive. What happened here? Okay, nothing, luckily, but it's just me, or did it look like everything just collapsed over there? So, exploit the left flank. I mean, we could clear the ball to the flanks as well. That's a possibility. Let's clear the ball to the flanks instead. And see how that feels. Just really move it up. Curdy, Gingen, Moore. Now, I think that's not going to affect our play in the offensive zone over here. Curdy, back to Kearney. Harkins, Moore's not going to have a shot. Sends it a little too hard behind Harkins, but Harkins finds a window where Thomas sneaks in there. Harkins finds the gap between the defenders for the pass, but Thomas sees, I think that's the anticipation. That's the foresight. we can see here, Thomas is getting a sense of how the play is going to go. And right here, Harkins is going to pick it up. Thomas is just in line over here. Harkins starts and finds this window, just gorgeous, where there's no one over here. Sends it sideways where Thomas can easily slide in, pick it up, move forward. Beautiful kick to beat the defender there, the goalkeeper there. It was actually quite close to the goalkeeper. But really, really nice. Excellent. Okay, we are finally on the board. Took a little longer than I might have liked. Harkins to Thomas. Thomas to Moore! Oh my god, what a save. What a save, what a play. That also looked like it had a lot of possibility there. Could have been 2 goals within like 30 seconds there. Ridiculous. Moore with the corner. It does get deflected away, but Moore's going to be able to keep it in and active. Sends it to the middle. We've got Kearney, moves it up to Harkins. There's a very big cluster of people over here, though, keeping it busy. And again, I think that's why, like, why are we not going wider? Probably because of the position assigned to the players, I suspect. Right? Everyone's sort of set up quite central. We'll see how it goes. That was an interesting failure by Thomas to do anything with the ball at all. We are at the half. We're only up by 1. I would like it to be a bit more. I'm going to be passionate about here. Things are going well, but I know you're capable of even better. Excellent. Yeah, we will maybe consider... So I think that's one of the reasons our scoring has been quite low, is I think because we're so clustered in the middle, everything just gets really crowded and congested there, and not a whole lot happens. So, maybe rather than clear the ball to the flanks, well, you know what? And do this. Basically, what we're trying to do is get the ball to Tony Ralston, maybe, and see if that can open up some moves on the flanks. I was getting excited there before I forgot that we switched positions. Or how was he just scooping up the ball there? Craig Moore offside. Maybe it was a funky camera angle. I may have been slightly confused here about what net was net. Which net was whose. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm saying we should be moving towards the right. But it was just me. Like, there's a white-shirted guy who went to pick up the ball in the left net. So I was like, hold on. Confused about something. All right, Geegan. So we still got Ralston over there. Or that's Crane, sorry. Ralston would be down on this side. Either way, because we did switch sides. But left is, yes. Oh, offside by Thomas. Good try, though. So, again, Thomas really trying to move forward quite a bit. Man, it'll be interesting to see if there's any real changes with things being exploited. It looks like mostly what we're... Well, hard to tell because it's a throw-in. We're, like, currently clustered on the left, which isn't exactly what I'm looking for. Thomas, who's looking to really deke around quite a few people there, and then he gets tripped up. Thought this referee was going to be turbo aggro, and I'm not seeing that. Todd with a real breakaway potential there, but he is not able to handle the ball quickly enough, and by the time he finally gets his kickoff, there's a lot of pressure from 3 players, so he was not able to get a convincing shot off. Big, deep shot by the goalkeeper, and Thomas does get a hold of it. He does fail to get it a proper goal kick or a pass, but it does win us a corner, which is huge. So Moore's going to take it. Lammy's over here, so the idea is we're going to try to see if we can't go and kick it all the way over to here. Surprised we're not further forward. Doesn't quite make it all the way, unfortunately. And the Sterling guy's super fast. He's potentially going to beat it, but Ralston's right there. It gets it over to Moore. Over to Thomas, to Harkins, who gets tripped. Again, he didn't even have the ball yet when this guy trips him up. Come on, referee! What is going on here? See why football fans sometimes get really angry and shouty. What do we have going on over here? All right, you can get rid of that. I'm just going to get rid of the exploit the flank. I'm still trying to clear the ball to the flanks, though. See what might happen there. Moore's got it. He does have a wall of white, but a lot of people will be able to pass to him. He is going to be able to beat the defender over there. He's going to cross it into Thomas! Oh, with a header. And I couldn't tell the angle because where we were. I don't know how far off he was, but that looked like it had a lot of possibility. First yellow card of the game, and it is for Tony Ralston, despite the fact that it felt like we have been getting tripped up the entire time, but I don't know, I suppose that might be some bias. Crane is able to dump it forward, but unfortunately no one was there. But finally Harkins gets control of the ball over to Moore, who then dumps it to the flank. Thomas picks it up. Is he going to have anyone to cross to? No, unfortunately not. I think that was an actual attempt on goal over there, but he seemed a little bit too deep to be able to pull anything off. We are at the 70-minute mark. I'm going to go and consider some sort of substitution. Is anyone having a particularly bad day? Not really. Perhaps the lowest might be Tony over here, and he's got the yellow already. So I'm going to go ahead and sub him out. just to maybe open that up a bit. Unfortunately, we really do still have quite a bit of weakness on that left flank. Looks like Andy Gigan can play on the right relatively well here, actually. Especially, I think, if I go and switch this to sort of a... Right, it's on the right. Yeah, fullback support, so it's a little bit less demanding. We'll put Gegan over there, and then we're going to replace the... ball-winning midfielder with Robbie Crawford over here. And I think I am digging that. I wonder if we should be wider in the middle. I'd be a little bit worried about getting beaten in the midfield a little bit more. But that might be part of it. Like, what if we played our midfielders more as wingers? I don't know. I feel like that would open us too much weakness in the mid. But that'll be something to consider for later on. I'm not going to make too many substitutions over here. So, all right, we're going to do that. Pull in some new people. And do we want to do a second sub as well? I don't know. Sean McCurdy. Yeah, we don't really have a super strong replacement for you. I'm just looking at people's like exhaustion levels. I think we'll wait a little bit more. We'll just do the one right now, and that's going to be okay. We'll see what develops. Of course, the substitution hasn't actually happened quite yet. All right, able to take the ball away there. It's always nice when the away fans start booing you, because clearly you're doing something right. Moore gets the ball in the middle, tries to take a really long shot there. If it was deflected, no, it was not deflected, so it's going to be a goal kick. That's too bad. I was hoping for a corner out of there. There's our substitution. Moore's got the ball again, doesn't get knocked way back. And who's that? Todd's going to be able to pick it up. Lammy challenges or threatens to challenge, but nothing really happens. They are able to move the ball up a little bit. Oh, no! Come on. I saw things happening, too. Gat just gets beaten on the outside. It even barely goes in, but there it is. And now I'm like, all right, so how do we get some goddamn points on the board over here? First of all, I want to take a look at the opposition instructions. No substitutions happened yet. I don't think I have to make any changes there. I might be wrong, but Sean's definitely getting a little bit tuckered out. So Jamie Adams... Well, that's going to be the substitution, but this isn't necessarily the ideal position for Jamie Adams. If we brought you in, maybe moved Pel Kearney there. Right, no, that doesn't really make much of a difference. Adam, are you more comfortable in a slightly different role? We'll just figure out something. Oh, you quite like ball-winning midfielder. What if we did that? There we go. And Crawford's a little bit more eager to play that kind of role. That's going to be fine. Okay, 18 minutes left. Do I want to use my final sub? I think I do. I think what we'll do is we'll bring in a replacement striker over here. I mean, Thomas has got our score, and he has seemed to play relatively well today. No, I'm just going to sub him out for Craig McGuffey here. Fresh legs on the offense. See what we can do. All right, go. Seriously, it does feel like we're failing to... I don't know. I think if we were playing a little bit sort of wider, and the play wide instruction doesn't seem to be doing the trick. Playing a little bit wider might result in somewhat more scoring because it'll give us more opportunities to get those crosses in. Big long shot from Moore. Very nice shot. It is going to be a goal kick, unfortunately. It doesn't get deflected. It was just too high. All right, McGuffey, Crawford, Adams, all coming in here for a lot of energy. All right, let's go for high tempo over here. Remove that, might be confusing people. Fair amount of shots, including on target. I don't know if we want to work the ball into the box. We don't have much time. I don't want to go shoot on sight, though. Route 1. Let's go. Kalen Crane with the yellow card. I think it's going to end up in a draw, which, I mean, for an away game isn't terrible, but it feels like this should have been a win for us. Come on. Adams keeps it in very nicely. Gets it over to Kearney, who finds a hard time getting an opening. Crawford with a long shot. Does get saved, unfortunately, though. And that'll probably be full-time momentarily here. Although Crane does send it quite far forward. McGuffey gets control. Harkins might take a long shot here. Oh! And it's going to be a goal kick as well. If that had resulted in the corner, it might have been what we needed. But that's got to be the end of the game here. And I am disappointed. Again, you know, I shouldn't be too disappointed to draw. It's not like we're not going to be in the promotion playoff, right? It's not like we are going to be in the promotion playoff. Well, maybe. There's a lot of football left. Yes, the performance was disappointing. I'm going to be assertive about this. Far from pleased. Come on. You got to bring it up to the next level here, guys. I don't know. You know, this was one of the things we're maybe talking about over here. That might add a little bit of width, but the other thing is let's consider here. Let's consider some things. Like, what was I talking about? Like something like this, right? I might be quite keen on trying. The big problem that continues to be is filling in all of these positions with people who can play everything. Yeah, so Jamie Thomas up there, Harkins. Yeah, see, we don't have a left winger at all. You're quite good there. Alan Forrest being over there is good. But yeah, huge. I don't know. Craig McGuffey's actually surprisingly comfortable. Maybe, hold on. Maybe that's the thing. I mean, we may not play it next game, but okay, you're actually quite comfortable in left wing. We're talking about doing you as a striker, but That's interesting. And then everything else, yeah, these are standard things. Still would like to have Nicky Devlin back. But yeah, so regular winner, dribble more, run wide with ball, cross more often, stay wider. The problem is that Forrest, well, he's got a crossing set. We don't have anyone on our team who's super strong at crossing. And I guess I'm thinking about it. I guess the problem would be if I did go and turn this to the inside forward kind of thing, right? As an attacker, dribble more, cut inside with ball. Is that going to lead to too much density in front of the goal, same as we were having before? Well, when Forrest doesn't have the ball, he will stay a little bit wider. Now, the problem is he doesn't have the comfort level. It's hard to find someone who's super comfortable with this, but basically it's cross less often and cut inside with the ball and get further forward. So rather than stay wide and then cross, he's going to move in, which I think is fine. I mean, the crossing is going to be from the maybe like the forward fullbacks or a proper sort of midfielder type of winger. But again, we don't have anyone who's happy there, right? All right, Brian Gilmore, 2 stars. I mean, good comfort, but that's about it. Stay wider, cross more often. Cross from byline. All right, so he's going to move even further forward and cross from there, which may or may not be what we want. I'm not sure. Oops. Why did I go to advanced playmaker there? I wonder. Oh, it's defaulting to deep lying forward, which is what? Hold the ball, get further forward, move into channels. What's the difference between that and poacher? Oh, I see. It doesn't have the move into channel. Okay, well, what about advanced forward? So this has hold up ball. Before supplying linking pass to teammate, moving the ball back, spreading. So he just waits a little bit longer. I think just tell him to play as an advanced forward or even the target man here. Hold the ball, dribble left, get further forward. The difference is the move into channels instruction. You're quite good at dribbling, right? 10. You don't have, like, sick good speed, though. Like, you are good at dribbling, but I'm not sure that you're always going to be able to beat people the same way. Now, these defensive midfielders, yeah, we kind of lack people who are happy playing that far back. Well, that's not quite true. Didn't we have someone who was happy to play a ball-winning midfielder back here. Oh, it's Ross Doherty. Yeah, was slightly more comfortable playing deeper with the ball-winning midfielder. Well, I mean, you know what? As I said, I don't want to make too many changes at this point. But again, I'll remind you, we feel relatively safe up here. Wraith is 6 points behind us. Like, Morton doesn't matter. It'd be nice to move up to Falkirk, but that doesn't seem to be a possibility anymore. But likewise, I'm not too worried about falling back here. We've only got 12 games left. It seems unlikely that we won't make this. And maybe what we want to do for the next game is actually go ahead and try this out. What is our next game? We're playing St. Mirren at home. St. Mirren, 7th ranked team. So, I mean, probably relatively similar in strength overall to us. The home game will be an advantage. Whether we want to play control or not, I'm not sure. I think I will still encourage whipped crosses and somewhat more direct passing. I don't think I have to tell people to play wide anymore, because I think that's just sort of going to happen without me being explicit with the width. I don't know. Maybe we'll spend the week practicing this and then give this a go in the next game and see what happens. Anyway, this video has gone on long enough. Thank you very much for watching, folks, and I'll see you guys next time.